We are at Nike Missile Base C-47, the Integrated Fire Control Section. This is now Blast Camp, which is a paintball field. Also wanted to say thank you to the folks at Blast Camp for letting us in to do our video and drone footage. And I do have to say, if you are a paintball fanatic, this is one cool place, and you'll see that by the video. As we're taking a look at the camp from way up above, I wanted to give one more thank you to Peter. Peter worked at this facility 53 years ago, and we exchanged pictures and this drone footage, and he was able to help me identify the different buildings that we're about to walk through. What the drone is looking at now is one of the target tracking radars. The radar next to it was also used for target tracking. The metal structure is the high-power radar tower. The building to the right is the high-power radar building, and the building to the left is the generator building. The building coming into view in the bottom left-hand corner was the day room, orderly room, barber shop, supply room, and medical dispensary. The building above it would be the non-commissioned officers' quarters and barracks for those who man the missiles in the launching area. The launch site is about a mile away, and we did do another video on that, and I'll put a link to that in the comments section. We are now going to walk through the day room, orderly room, barber shop, supply room, and medical dispensary. I knew Peter and I were on the same page trying to figure out which building was which when he knew this one was the barber shop. So while we're walking through these buildings, let's talk a little bit about what the Nike missile site was. The Wheeler Nike missile site, C-47, was one of 10 Nike missile sites in the Chicago-Gary defense system under the command and control of Missile Master in Arlington Heights, Illinois. C-47 was a Nike Hercules site consisting of two separate areas: the Integrated Fire Control Area, IFC, which is where we're at now, and the missile launching area, both separated by a mile or so for obvious reasons. The entire site was entirely self-sufficient, having its own well, septic system, and power generation. All general maintenance was conducted by base personnel. However, specialists were brought in when task required skills not possessed by site personnel. Peter was stationed here from 1962 to 1965. The site was manned by regular Army personnel and designated A Battery, 1st Missile Battalion, 60th Artillery, under the Army Air Defense Command. Later it would be turned over to the National Guard and eventually shut down in the 1970s as a result of the strategic arms limitation talks due to nuclear capabilities of the Nike Hercules missile. Now we're heading into the non-commissioned officers' quarters and barracks for those who man the missiles in the launching area. Nike missiles were radar-guided, supersonic, anti-aircraft missiles. The Chicago defensive area, one of the larger in the nation, had about 20 bases ringing metropolitan Chicago. Due to the relatively short range of the first-generation Nike missiles, bases had to be close to the area they protected. The Hercules Nike missiles were nuclear capable and can destroy fleets of Soviet bombers over a wide area. By the way, if you like what you're seeing, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and of course leave us a comment. There's a great book you could get if you want to learn a lot more about this. It's called Rings of Supersonic Steel by Mark L. Morgan and Mark A. Burhow. We are now walking into the bachelor officer quarters and barracks for those who man the IFC area. I think these are living quarters.
Yeah.
So they line them up. This is where they work. But I'll get all the facts once I get a drone shot of everything. I know what buildings where.
This is where they are, though.
Alright, I got my 12
Nice.
That's what you care about.
Yeah. So, still be cool footage to have, though.
parcel of land contained 13 buildings, 5 radar towers, a wastewater treatment in-ground enclosure, basketball court, and a cyclone fence. We are now heading into the mess hall. This video is pretty long, but we're trying to document as much of these buildings as we can. Now we're heading over to the generator building. The launch facility, which you can see in another video, was 14 acres and surrounded by 2 8-foot tall cyclone fences. You'll be able to see the actual launchers, 3 independent concrete underground bunkers with blast doors. The high power radar is to the left as we enter the high power radar building. High power stands for High Power Acquisition Radar. Building straight ahead is the Fire Unit Integration Facility.
Yeah.
This is the motor pool building. Not 100% sure what the building on the left is. any of the facts that I've given out are inaccurate, or you have additional information on this base, please feel free to leave a comment and we'll add it to the notes, and be sure to pass it on to all our viewers.